Am I on? Yeah. I'm going to talk just for a few minutes. If listening for a few minutes is too difficult, you can finish our collage, or there's still some wooden people that could do with being decorated to either represent your family or Noah's family. Okay, we've just talked about this on your tables. What is a covenant? And I'm sure some of you could answer this already. A covenant, Zeb, what are you doing with that paint? Okay. A covenant is an agreement or promise or deal or pact. Shh. There are two sides in a covenant. Each side agrees to fulfill different sides of the deal. They agree to stick to the terms of the agreement and not break them. It becomes central to how they operate together or get on together. You've just talked in your tables about the word promise. Some families, my parents, these guys' grandparents, were very cautious about using the word promise as it carries a lot of weight. We have to try and stick to it and make sure that we're definitely going to do the thing we're saying we will. As long as, like Martin reminded me, it's a healthy promise and a good thing to do, we're not being forced to make the promise. My next door neighbour and her kids are like in their 20s, and I were chatting about kids and family relationships. She said that even now in their 20s, if she makes a pinky promise with her adult children, she knows it cannot be broken. Who's listened to the horrendous Haddock III stories apart from us? And what does the witch say about a promise, Ben? A promise is a promise if it is made in blood. So promise, you let me down there, Ben. So promises are important. Promise keeping and deal breaking are massive themes in stories, and especially children's books, because trust is so important to all of us. And not having that trust broken is crucial. Being let down is really hard. The covenant we've just looked at here is the first in our series of covenants. It's a really familiar story, but most of us, or a lot of us, remember this part and maybe the part that we're making over there, but not necessarily this part that I'm talking about. We use the ark and it's being built and it's far from the sea and people wonder what the heck Noah's doing, and the animals are being rounded up 2 by 2 and they escape the disaster, but we don't always think about the ending, or maybe that's just me. There's some important things in that ending. God, like Erin read to us so well, promises there will never be again this mass destruction like they've just witnessed because of what people may do wrong. We're being protected not just from destruction, but from experiencing the full consequences of our actions. He also promises, I'm looking at the gardeners in the room, that the earth's cycles of night and day and planting and harvest will continue as long as the earth exists. And that's good news for all the gardeners here. This promise is made, and this, I'm looking at Lucy and the Eco Church people here, is made not just to Noah and his family and descendants, but it's made with all living beings. I hadn't noticed that until I looked at it this week. Everything that came out of the ark, so I could have got you all to stand up and pretend to be an animal. It's important to remember we're shown in that all living things matter to God, not just people. What about the other side? What do Noah and his sons have to do or promise? So I said a minute ago, in a covenant, both sides often promise things. But in this one, Noah doesn't actually say out loud, yes, God, I'll do that. But his agreement can maybe be taken by the sacrifices he makes. God gives Noah and his family one instruction and one rule. They're told to have many children to repopulate the earth. And although it's in language we might not like, and we wouldn't use today, there's a reminder that people are in charge of the earth and an implication to look after our earth. The rule that they're given is an unusual one. It's not to eat meat with blood in it. And this rule is one that is still followed today by Jews in their kosher food laws. There's some detail that follows it, and that explains it's God saying that human life is sacred. Humans are made like God. This belief in the specialness and importance of human life is still really important today in many of our rules and laws and ways that we live. So what? What does this say about God? There's one line I think is really helpful for us as we begin thinking in this series about covenants. God says, I know from the time he is young, his thoughts are evil. It's quite a full-on sentence, but God knows that we will break our promises to each other and to him. God knows that even though I promised that I would do the dishwasher and Rob didn't have to do it this week, that I would forget because I was tired. God knows even though I'm aiming to get up each morning and have time with him, there's days it doesn't happen. Yet he still makes a covenant with Noah and his descendants. That's us and me, and that's good news. I love that he repeats his covenant 6 or 7 times, and he gives us a visual aid. I don't think that God really needed a visual aid. I think the benefit is for ours. We may need a way of remembering that God does and will keep his promises. Okay, I've talked enough, so we're going to do an act. If you can just keep making quietly, I've just got 2 thoughts before we do our last everything together activity. Tell me in a minute. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed your cabin making and have made them cozy, comfy, but also safe and secure. I wonder if anyone has read the children's story Noah's Brother. We have. No? He's called Hazardicaladorum. It's a lot of fun, and it's good at thinking about what it would have been like being in the ark for 40 days. Noah and his family may not have had a futon or a daybed, a cozy, comfy cabin that you've created and imagined. It might have been darker and smellier and busier than you have drawn or created. Probably not much time for chilling on a beanbag. But they have been rescued and kept safe within the ark. While everything around them was disastrous, they were safe and secure. This covenant we're looking at, this passage, is also about the new beginning that God wants them to enjoy. A new beginning in their relationship with him, and a completely fresh new beginning for the earth. Wow. As someone who's always trying to start new things, I can't remember the number of times I've said to Rachel, I must get back into running, and struggles to stick to my resolutions, I'm quite jealous of this complete newness. Although I don't think I would like to be stuck in a boat with loads of animals to get that newness. What about me? What about us? We're not Noah, but there are important things here. Noah was kept safe in the ark. We are kept safe in God's covenant relationships and promises that we're going to explore more in this series. The promise was made to Noah and all his descendants, and that includes us. Noah might have wondered, how long, God? Can I get out now, God? Is the water gone, God? We might also feel the same. How much longer? How more, God? This is tough and hard. When is this going to end, God? So what? What do we do with these thoughts? Like Noah, when he followed God's strange commands to build a boat in the middle of nowhere and trusted God, or at the middle of nowhere near the sea, we trusted God, we can remember to trust God more and more, especially as we go on to explore the promises he's made people. Like Noah, we can each morning or each time we realize we need to come back to God and be close to him again and start again.